Hello and welcome to another episode of Monday Merriment. Today is September 2nd, 2024. We are on the new moon phase. Today is exactly the new moon, and the moon phase for today is in Virgo. Okay, it kind of looks like we have two different activities going on for today. First of all, it is the new moon, okay, and it's also Labor Day. So hopefully some of you guys got the day off. If you did have the day off, then you can spend some time, doing some things that you like to do. And sometimes, it's just nice not to do anything, but it's nice if you have the chance to just kind of like, maybe spend half of your day doing some relaxation and then picking up maybe a hobby or something, but do something that, you're going to enjoy since this is your day off. So that's great that you got a 3-day weekend, right? And then, of course, there's some people who are working today. And if that's the case, well, then, make the best of today. Chances are, I believe because it's a federal holiday, I haven't been in the workplace in a very long time. And I'm going to, because I never really celebrated holidays consistently, like, there's times I pick up, Christmas if I can afford it. And if I don't, then I don't celebrate it. Okay. And there's also these other little holidays, things like Labor Day, Memorial Day, and all these other little days that get thrown into the calendar throughout the year. And, sometimes we forget all about them, okay? But this is like, Labor Day is a day that I never really celebrated other than being able to get that day off, okay? And I will tell you, anytime you get a 3-day weekend off, it is a big deal, okay? And I know what a drag it is, kind of like, when your employer doesn't let you get off that day. And there's good reasons for that sometimes. Sometimes it's like you might work in an industry where that's just not possible, you know what I mean? But it is looked upon as a federal holiday. Labor Day is, so there should be some difference in compensation in that paycheck, right? Because we want to make sure we get paid for our extra time that we put in, and it's worth it. Hang on. Well, it's not really worth it, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying is like you deserve to have some sort of additional compensation for, not being able to relax on this day. Okay. So let's go back to it being the new moon, and then also the moon phase being at Virgo. When the moon phase is in Virgo, it's a good time to organize family and business plans, okay? And it's, I would say that's the center of everybody's world, right? You and the people that you care about. And then also, being able to take care of yourself, of course, that's business and career. Okay, so let's start off the new moon by me showing you how to do a quick, easy spell that involves invoking, meaning that you're using the energies that you already have charged up inside you. This is a very quick spell, and I'm sure you probably have all these things in your cupboard already. Okay, so this is the opportunity spell that I wanted to show you. I'm going to just refer to the spell as the opportunity opener. You're going to need a few items for this, and they're all very basic. Like I said, you probably have them in your cupboard right now, okay? This is a general opportunity opener spell, and meaning like for me, I just want opportunities to get out of the house. Okay, I need more opportunities to take up my routine, to have more of a life that seems like it's worth living instead of being stuck in the house all the time. Also, I am looking for work, so I need to have different opportunities for that as well. Now, this particular spell that I'm showing you, you can also use it in a general way too. Like, I'm not having any specific thing in mind. I just know that I need to shake up my routine. Now, if you have any specific goals in mind, like for example, if you are interested in maybe looking for love, like the small bowl that you're going to be using, that's the item number 1. Okay, so the small bowl that you would be using, if you have a specific goal in mind, you can go ahead and use the appropriate color associations for that. I think if you watched my video, Color Magic, you might be hopefully you're catching on to how color works and how it can be incorporated. Okay, so you'll need 1 small bowl. Number 2, what you're going to need is a spoon, right? Number 3, you're going to need salt. The salt in this particular spell is going to represent protection. Number 4, you're going to need sugar. You're going to need that for a sweetener. Now, if you look at my food magic list that I had created, I had given sugar the definition, or I guess the spiritual significance of love and lust vibrations, and of course it does have that, okay? But when you use sugar, like for example in your cereal, there are times when you I ritualistically eat, but sugar is used like in your coffee generally in the morning, or or something like that in your food for sweetening purposes. In this case, we're using it as a sweetener, but we're not going to actually eat it. You'll find out more in just a moment. Number 5 is rice. You'll need rice. Rice, represents in this situation like money, but you can also visualize mainly fertility, okay? Fertility is like, for example, something that, okay, when we think of fertility, generally people think of somebody being pregnant. Because that's the reason the old tradition of throwing people rice on a couple back in the days, like, was to have them be blessed with a bunch of children, right? So that's why they were, associating rice with fertility, okay? And rice obviously grows in abundance as well. But when fertility doesn't necessarily always have to be associated with actually getting pregnant. Fertility also has the description of being able just to be fertile. Something that is plentiful and something that's going to be able to flourish well, okay? So in this case, go ahead and either focus on either rice or, fertility or money, however you visualize abundance, okay? Having enough, okay? It's like, for me, I'm just basically looking at it as fertility. You might look at it as money, but of course, I do need a job, so I could focus on money too if I needed to. Okay, so, and the last thing you're going to need is you're going to need a safety pin, okay? That safety pin is going to be opened at the very end so that you're going to put it on top of all the ingredients. Now, I will show you how this is going to work. Okay, so going through the list, the first thing I mentioned was the bowl. Now, this bowl, because it's general, and, mind you, I only have 2 small bowls that I use for ritualistic purposes. Now, sometimes, and it's completely fine if you want to start this spell with a bowl that you have in your cabinet. I would say that for me, I actually have like, some utensils and some bowls, plates, and stuff that are specifically used only for ritual. Okay, and this would be one of my bowls. Okay, and it's not significant, but I will say if you go to certain websites like Amazon, they do have like really nice ones. Like I've seen some nice Celtic designs, and I've seen like some really beautiful, intricately painted design ritual type bowls for serving or whatever. Okay, I'm not that fancy. I will tell you, I would say back in the 90s, I was the kind of person, I would spend my money on all that kind of stuff, okay? But, I've moved, picked up, having to move and everything, and I can't bring it all with me. So now I'm just using like really basic stuff. So this particular bowl is the color blue. Like I said, it's not a bad idea to use color significance, okay? If you need a fresher course or a reminder of what colors represent to you. Really the color should have a significance to you, okay? And of course, there are universal meanings to color, okay? Like I said, I explained all of that in the color magic video, but in this case, this color is blue. And so, in this case, since I'm really stuck with 2 options, either the blue one or the white one. So what are you going to do, Maria? I'm going to use the blue one. So this blue one, I'm thinking about how I can use it in my mind to add it to my spell work, okay? So I don't just have to feel like, oh, I'm just going to go ahead and use this bowl. So I like the fact that it's blue, okay? I like the fact that blue is a very tranquil, peaceful color, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and focus on this. Also, if you look closely, I don't know if you can see this. Well, yeah, I keep forgetting the camera is actually down here. Etched inside the bowl are little fishes, okay? Fishes are usually symbols of good luck. And when it comes to designs on like, bowls, plates, and stuff like that, those are significant. They really are. And that's one of the reasons how we ended up having those sort of things in the first place. Most things do have magical origins. And, foods and stuff like that generally were served ritualistically, when they were in groups and stuff like that. And so how they, presented it with, some sort of symbolic meaning. But, okay, so we are here with the bowl. And hopefully you'll choose something that's going to resonate with you. So let's start with this. Now, you notice when I gave the list that I did not give you any specific measurements on how much you're going to use. The reason why is because you're going to use equal measurements of all the ingredients. And what I mean by that is like, if you feel like, entering in maybe a teaspoon, only, 3 teaspoons of salt, or you want to use tablespoons, that is completely up to you, okay? but I choose to just use like a regular size spoon like this, right? And just use the equal parts at 3 servings of each part. Okay, so we're going to start off with salt. And the reason why I start off with salt is because salt is the main blessing that you always want. Like when I first move into the home, the first thing that I ever do is I buy salt, a new box of salt. Okay, because salt represents protection and it also represents stability. Okay, so anytime you want to create a goal, something that you're going to, a new venture, the first thing you want to think about is making it stable. Okay, and so the representation of salt is, protection, and of course it also represents stability. Okay, so this is the reason why I enter the salt in first. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's not like you've never seen somebody pour salt before, okay? But I'm doing a demonstration, okay? So anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and pour the first spoonful into the bowl. Okay, and like I said, equal parts of each ingredient. So here's like 1 thing of salt. And if you want to actually use actual teaspoon, like, the measurement kind, you can do that too. But I don't care, And plus, I like my little spoon, okay? And yes, they do have ritualistically made spoons. They have them with all kinds of designs on them. They have stars, moons, whatever. And if you work with metal and you're able to make your own magical utensils, I highly think I highly suggest that. Okay, the more energy you add into the things that you use, the more powerful it is. Okay, so let's go number 2. And now my third one. Okay. So then I'm just kind of, move it around to where it's kind of even and balanced in there in the bowl. Okay. The next thing I'm going to add is the sugar, right? Because I want to make it sweetened. I want this little journey of opportunities to come in sweetened. I want, pleasant things to go on. I don't want drama. I don't want chaos. I just want, I want to focus on the sweetness. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding the sugar. In equal measure, same with the spoon. Okay, the only thing is with this, I can dip this in. Okay, I don't have to pour it in. So I'm just going to go ahead and get 3 scoops of sugar. 1. Just covering the salt. 2. 3. Okay. Oh man, I hate it when I screw things on crooked, because it becomes a nightmare to put it back on. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, now I'm going to add the rice. Okay. Now the rice is what makes it fertile, and the rice is what makes it abundant, right? Because there's many little pieces of rice, All right, so I'm just going to dip it in the same way. So 1 scoop of rice, and I'm just covering it all over top of the other layer of the sugar that's on top of the salt, right? And the next one, same thing. Here's the last scoop. Okay. Kind of make that balanced. And I'm going to shove this here. Now, move this here. Get this spoon out the way. All right. Now, the next and the last thing that gets added is the safety pin. Okay, now this is my prized possession because I feel as though my sewing box makes me super duper girly, and I love my sewing box. Okay, my sewing box and having a sewing box makes me feel like I'm living in the 19th century. I don't know, or something from the old school. Okay, and I feel as though staying old school as much as I possibly can. It just makes me thrive. It just brings out, the life in me. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and dig out some safety pins. I just get excited. Just open it. I know I'm a nerd. I know it. You don't have to tell me. I know it. But anyway, I'm going to open up my sewing box, and I'm going to grab out some safety pins. Just 1. Okay. Now, sometimes when during spells, you have options. Okay. Because, like I said, everything, you can add more semblance to this if you wanted to. Okay, so let's just say, for example, these little pins. I don't know if you can see them, right? but I've had them for a while. There's a mixture of them. They're pretty much the same size, but you know, the color tones are different. Like there's some that look more copper and there's some that look more silver. Okay. And of course we know they're not real. They're not like real gold and they're not real silver. Okay. But in your mind, you can use that as a form of representation. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and pick out this one right here, and I'm going to pretend that it's money, right? Since it's gold, right? I'm going to use it, and I'm going to represent money. Now, let's just say, for example, we had a multiple group of different size of pins in here, right? And so I'm sitting here thumbing through this, and I had the opportunity to choose like a big one because I'm thinking, I want bigger opportunities. See what I'm saying? Use your mind to kind of work with this. You know what I mean? If you have multicolored pens, you might be able to choose a color pen that, you know, represents your idea, your overall goal. Put as much as thought and variety into it as much as you possibly can. Now, where did I do with the lid to this? Here it's transparent. Okay. Putting the summing box back down. Okay, so now here we're looking at the safety pin. And so now visualize opportunities being shut. And now you're going to open the safety pin, right? This represents the opportunities being open, okay? And then you're going to lay it in the middle of the rice mixture and be very careful not to shake it up, okay? And the reason why, you know, this should be ideally, this safety pin, the open part of it should be facing your front door, okay? So you need to arrange it in a place where it's, you know, facing your door. You can put it on a bookshelf, you know, so it doesn't look so obvious, you know, or you can put it somewhere, you know, somewhere maybe on a shelf or whatever, because, you know, maybe you may not like just looking at this bowl. If it's decorative, it would just look like a decoration, okay? Just use your imagination how you're going to arrange this in your house, okay? But this would be basically your blessing and your open opportunity. I want to say that, you know, you can always add things to it as well. Like, you know, I have, I'm not going to add it, and it wasn't on the list, but if you want to add things, like while you're doing this sort of like ritual, you could have like had candle burnings, you could have incense burning to get in the mood. You don't have to just do things step by step. You know, you can start working and incorporating more of things that you want. Like I know I like listening to music. To me, music sometimes just adds to the spiritual vibration, especially the lyrics, okay? So if you find a song that's appropriate, there's all kinds of different, you know, instrumental type tones, music, esoteric tones that are on YouTube that you can listen to. Getting back to adding a little bit more to make it more like, you know, more powerful. You know, I do have with a different kind of oils, okay? This one's called Road Opener, okay? So if I wanted to, I could sprinkle a little bit, maybe like 3 drops, since I did three doses of everything else. I had 3 scoops of, 3 scoops of salt, sugar, and rice. I could just put 3 small drops on top of the safety pin if I wanted to, okay? I'm just giving you guys ideas, okay? Open your mind to how you want to work and modify. I give you guys the foundation, the ideas, the basic little things, and you guys can just keep adding more, okay? This is what really makes it personal. This is what really gives it its power, okay? Now, I'm not going to show you my altar, but I'm going to go ahead and put this on my altar. I'm going to tell you what my altar looks like a little bit, right? Just to give you some ideas. I think I already posted the video called Getting Started, where if I didn't, you know, shame on me. I'm just going to make sure that I can like live up to that word. But anyway, in this video, I talk about, you know, the basic supplies that you can get and also how to set up an altar. And so I already have my altar. I don't keep my altar out in the main room right now because, you know, I have my son, he's hanging out all the time, and I want to keep my altar personal. So I keep my altar in my bedroom. Now, because we have, we're changing the seasons, you know, I have a altar cloth that represents the change of the season, right? And you can do that too. I mean, like, I know I'm a big autumn fan, right? So, you know, my altar looks like autumn. And you can add things like corn dollies. You can add things that represent autumn. You can add little pumpkins or whatever, okay? But anyway, this is going to go on top of my altar, Okay, and like I said, you can arrange this anywhere you want to. You can arrange it on your bookshelf. You can do wherever you want to. And if you ideally, it should be, facing your front door. Okay, but unfortunately, I'm limited on space, so I can only do so much. Okay, but this really is for a demonstration for you guys. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go on to the next slide. So I just placed it on the altar, and I just wanted to mention that, don't forget to use music, incense, candles, and other items to get you in the mood when you're working a spell. Not just this one, but any spell, okay? Also, when it comes to this mixture that of the salt, the sugar, and the rice, and so on and so forth, the mixture, you can change it each new moon or at least every 3 months, because I will say that the temperatures and the room temperature in the house, and just it being exposed the way that it is going to start attracting things like dust and lint and stuff like that. So of course you want to make sure that it's fresh all the time. So of course you wouldn't want to keep it that way for the entire year. So it should be changed as much as you possibly can. Or if you feel as though that you're content with the opportunities that you're having already, then just go ahead and you can take it off the altar, go ahead and wash the bowl and use it for something else. Okay, but sometimes it takes a while for these things to work, so keep it and use it for as long as you wish. Okay, so now I just want to go through some general updates and announcements. I am releasing the video in my catalog called Wear the Flare in Your Hair. I would say I probably made this like 2 months ago, and it was actually for my defunct Ko-fi channel. My defunct Ko-fi channel. But yeah, I would say I knew at that time that I was not going to be getting the viewership on my channel. I realized that I was kind of being perped a little bit too deeply, and chances are this video wasn't going to go anywhere, but I made it anyway. And because I knew I was making this video under such negative circumstances, I would say that I wasn't very formal with it, but it does show me going over, different hair ornaments, and which I find fun, and hair accessories. I even try on some hats in this video. So check this out. And I wanted to suggest for some of you guys who might be interested in experimenting with things like clothes, because I know that this is one of the reasons why I was bullied, because of me being Little Miss Extra, right? Okay, so, but I think there's a lot of people in this community and outside of the community who would like to be a little bit extra too. And, I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of times people get jealous or they get competitive, because they themselves may feel like there's some sort of restriction or whatever. I will assure you that clothes are sold in all kinds of stores. If there was some sort of restriction about having them, there would be they would be like sold over the counter, or you'd have to be over the age of 18 years old. Okay, there's nothing wrong with wearing clothes, and there's nothing wrong with liking what you're wearing, and there's nothing wrong with feeling good about yourself. You're the only person who's going to allow you to feel good about yourself, so do it. Okay. Now I was going to look. I did look through some websites, and I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why I look through these websites is because I am not somebody who is in a position to recommend fashion to anyone. Okay. The reason why I say this is because I like clothes, and I have a very eclectic taste. Okay. But I would think for people who are starting to get interested in clothes, okay, the best thing for you to do is start getting ideas on current trends. Okay. And I'm not saying do not let trend rule your life to the where you become enslaved by it, because there are some people who just want clothes just because Mr. Jones across the street has it. Okay. And I will say that if it's not something that you specifically like, there are times things come into fashion that I would try them on and I look absolutely ridiculous on them. Why? Because it doesn't fit me. Okay. But there's always different kinds of clothes that do, and there's different colors that look good on you. Like, there's different, like certain seasons, or each year there's a different color that seems to be, real popular. Like you might notice, and I'm telling you this because not everybody paid attention to clothes before. Okay, so now this is going to be a little bit more of a topic. Okay, so if you're interested in getting started in something like that, you know, you can look, there's a variety of different fashion magazines. I will say when I was a kid, I used to look at Vogue magazine, and I used to look at 17 magazine, and I used to look at, I think Vogue and those kind of magazines are now online, okay? But those are good ideas to look at, okay? Now, I'm realistic. Not everybody not everybody has a lot of money to spend on clothes. Now, this is where creativity comes in, okay? If you have the ability to sew, okay, you can start looking at things like upcycling clothes, okay? Upcycling is basically taking old clothes and refurbishing them. I think I did a demonstration of that in Everyday Alchemy, okay? And there's some people who may have put the sewing machine away for very many years and have not used their sewing machine in a very long time. And I think that the revival of the spirit right now, especially for a lot of older people, I'm one of those people, okay, is very important. You know, sometimes a lot of people my age, they start shelving away their sewing machine. They feel like they're no longer interested in those projects. And I think if you started taking interest in clothing, yes, a woman in this age, or any man, whoever, who feels as though they want to live again, as much as they possibly can, to renew and rejuvenate their spirit, which I would say that that's something I recommend. Now, you may not choose clothes to do that, but if you do, this is the starting point of where I'm recommending you to go, okay, to get ideas, okay? And then also how you can get ideas of what kind of clothes you like. Think about the kind of styles that you notice. You know, start paying attention to different kinds of clothes. Now, I looked at some websites because I was going to recommend websites to you guys at first, okay? But the websites that I was looking at, a lot of these things were very high dollar items, okay? That I don't have the money for that, okay? So this is why I'm saying, for you guys, do your own web searching, okay? And then also consider those budgets. Now, a lot of department stores, when things come in, they come into fashion, what they do is they start putting a lot of the items out there. All departments do this, just stores do this. And you'll start noticing, like for example, leopard print. And actually, leopard print is another thing that is coming back again this year. Leopard print, you'll notice leopard print is starts coming out, for the fall season. They'll usually start bringing that stuff out like around August time, okay? And you'll notice that you'll start seeing the same sort of designs in the stores, okay? The reason why I'm mentioning this is to you guys, like I'm understanding there's a lot of people who never pay any attention. Some people are just wearing clothes just because it's convenient, or they're just used to just wearing pants for function or whatever, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're interested in clothes, then these are your starting points, okay? And like I said, the reason why I didn't recommend these particular sites is because I felt as though the dollar price was a little bit too much for most people, okay? And of course, there are several sites out there that are probably right there on the money for the most people, okay? And I will tell you that I spent a lot of time in what I call therapy. Today I had to just really have some personal time for myself, which I made some personal time for myself yesterday. Okay, so I had 2 days of just personal time reconnecting, and I'm going to go more into a spiritual message in just a few minutes, okay? But I didn't really have time to sit here and try to find a website that would be a good, to recommend a good site to where they had clothing fashions for a reasonable budget, because I know a lot of people don't have that right now, okay? But so the first thing is, I know I'm a JCPenney girl. I've been going to JCPenney for many years, and it kind of pissed me off when they were kind of messing with my credit. It was part of their little slap in the face type joke. But JCPenney is a great store, and that I remember that I grew up with, okay? And I would say generally they do keep up with the styles, okay? That's an idea. That's a starting point. And I go JCPenney's because I'm a loyal customer of theirs, okay? But I did notice on these websites, this was kind of exciting, okay? A lot of these websites were talking about bringing back this British look, okay? And I think I've mentioned before how how much I have admired the British style. Okay, they were talking about things like leather gloves and hats, like pageboy hats and stuff like. I was already getting excited. Of course, the cable sweaters are always there, but they did show different ways of wearing that cable sweater, like wrapping it around your shoulders. There's different ways that you can wear clothes as well, not just the way that you see it. Okay, so and this is not just for women, it's for men as well. So if this is something that you're interested in, take a look. And there's always something fun for everyone. Now, I love autumn. When it comes to autumn, I'm going to tell you what, I love autumn clothing. Okay. I will say that when it comes to like the European look, plaids never get tiring to me. I remember many years back when I was in first grade, my dad had a friend who went to Scotland, and they brought me and my sister back peacoats, right? These navy blue peacoats with these beautiful plaid scarves, okay? And plaid is something now people are like, well, bitch, you're not from Scotland. No, I am not. But let me explain. Okay, the European style has always influenced what people wear here in the United States. It's just what it is, okay? And so, plaid is a fabric that has become so well known and so widespread that people forget its origins. Okay, and I understand the whole thing about cultural appropriation, but once it hits the department stores, it's available for everyone. And I will say that when the other plaid items that I've had in the past in my life, like I love plaid skirts. And I did see this on the list. Now, they showed a plaid, and plaids are different. Not all plaids are big and bulky. Some of these plaids look more like the kind of designs that you'll see like on tweed. And tweed is a certain material that tweed is just a certain material that comes in and out of fashion. And this year, it looks like tweed is coming back. Okay, along with leather gloves and the British look for men and women. And then they also talked about how jeans are something that flips around a lot. Okay, sometimes you'll notice like they'll have like more of a tapered pant leg. I see more wide legs this year. So thing is, do a little bit of research, and I think you're gonna like it. Now, like the everyday alchemy, I'm giving you the basics, okay? That's the very basics, okay? There's a lot of things that go into fashion, style, or whatever, okay? Now, I will say when it goes to my closet, I have a lot of different clothes that I haven't worn in a long time, mainly because I've been staying in the house, okay? So I'm thinking, okay, right now I don't have money for like British clothes, okay? And I'm not somebody who is a slave to fashion. But what's good about knowing about what's the new fashion trend is that these are new pieces that you can add to your collection. Okay, so for people who want to broaden their horizons or whatever, definitely take a look at that. Also, I did see I think in the everyday it was either Everyday Alchemy, and I think it was Everyday Alchemy. My video on talking about experimenting with makeup. Now I do wear makeup. And I love makeup, and but I'm not somebody who can recommend that. I can't recommend like what's the best, I will say there's certain girls that I look at and I'm thinking, oh, I love the color of her eyes. This would make her eyes pop. Okay. And that's great, but I'm not somebody who can sit here and say, okay, I'm going to recommend this cosmetic. I'm going to recommend this and this and this and this. Okay. I think I'm going to leave that up to the professionals, but I will say there's a lot of good YouTube tutorials if you're interested in that. Also, when it comes to clothing, don't be ashamed to hit the thrift stores if that's what you can do right now, okay? But the important thing is that you want to feel vibrant, you want to feel new, and I will say that I have never felt bad about wearing a secondhand item, okay? Because one man's junk is another man's treasure, okay? And that's the truth, okay? And use your creativity. Like, there's been coats, there was, the kind of coat, I think, how would you describe this coat? Like maybe I'll find a picture of it and use it for this particular slide. I'm throwing this video on a slide I'm throwing this video together a little bit today. But there's a kind of coat that has like 2 different buttons on the side. Okay, and I will show you. Hopefully, I'll find that for the slide. Okay, but when it comes to thrift store clothing, you can go in and you can look at a piece of clothing and say, okay, well, you know what? I don't like the buttons. That's a nice looking jacket, but I don't like the buttons, and you can change the buttons. You can go to somewhere like Joann's and buy some new buttons for it. You know what I mean? And make it your own. You know, it doesn't have to be something that you feel like, you know, oh, this is, you know, don't do things that are going to put you in a feeling of where you're feeling deprived. Because you can take that $2 jacket that you found at a garage sale, and you can feel like $1,000,000 wearing it. Okay. What else did I want to tell you? Oh yeah, and think about things like accessories too. You know, things like when they talked about handbags, some of these like handbags for the 2024 look. I know I'm glad that burgundy, the color burgundy, is back in, and I'm glad that the British stuff is coming back in. And the reason why is because I have a British hat that I've been dying to wear, and it's burgundy. What do you know? What do you know? Right? So I hope you guys get excited about fashion. Okay, so I wanted to go into the spirit message that I received. I would say I've been in communication for the last 2 days or so. I was starting to get visions and downloads about. I don't want to mention this person's name, but I will say this is a very significant person, and that this person has passed on as a result of a lot of the issues that I've been going through. And I don't want to go too deeply into this, okay? And, you know, sometimes when things occur, like this, I don't know if it happened a week ago or maybe a few days ago. The thing is that I've just become aware of it now. And, you know, you would think that I would be jumping for joy, right? But I'm starting to understand something very deep here. Okay, this to me is a very, very deep issue. And I will say that when I first came to that realization, I will say that my first feeling is I felt a sense of relief. Why? Because this whole issue, excuse me, this whole issue was something that got way out of control. But when I think about how what the situation was and how it was designed, it was meant to get out of control. Now, I wrote down some things, and I didn't put them in any particular order, but I think that this is important. See, a part of my spiritual gift, and something that I feel, um, I don't know why I feel responsible. It's just something that is inside of me to feel like I need to communicate with people who've passed on under certain circumstances, or just people that I know, or I want to know that they're at peace. Now, some people would think, well, why should you care whether this person who mistreated you, like, you know, why should I care that that person's in peace? Because there's something inside me that does. I have no idea where the compassion comes from, why I have it when my enemies died. I don't know why. Maybe you know why? Because maybe it's because I have the wisdom to evaluate what this person had going for them and the things that they put their wasted their life on, focusing on, and a part of me have always felt a little bit sorry for this particular family. Now, I think I've mentioned this particular family before, mainly because of an awareness that I came upon the awareness of my association with this group of people last year. Okay, and I was very stunned. But I would say, you know, in the previous years that led up to all of this, you know, when I would see things about them or have certain conversations. I remember I was working, the last place I was working at, BT Trucking, I was talking to a coworker, and you know, this could have been one of those staged conversations, but she had brought this particular family up, and I had basically said that, you know, there was a lot of restrictions that went on in those sort of families, and I myself could not live like that. Now, this is before I knew about the Alamehu thing, before I knew about all this other stuff. Okay, but deep down inside, in my feeling, I would used to look at pictures, like, you know, my mom was a big Star in the Enquirer person. I would look at pictures, and I would look at, you know, I just felt like I couldn't live that way. Okay, now I always felt sorry for them because they lived a very restricted life. Like, you know, I'm the kind of person, if I want to wear purple nail polish, I'm going to go get me a bottle of purple nail polish. But this is something that There's guidelines as to what color nail polish they could wear. And for a woman who steps into a role like that after living her life, that's very difficult to do. So there's a lot of, I'm going to say inner draining that goes on with these individuals in this family dynamic that's beyond their control, because this is a situation that was put in place before the people that, before the generation before them, and so on and so forth, okay? It's a lot of tradition and a lot of this sort of stuff, okay? So I started thinking a lot about, this particular person's existence. And I also thought about, my last boss and the things that they had going for them, and the fact that these people couldn't see the blessings that they already had. Now, this particular man, this is so deep. Like, this was, to me, got so deep. This particular man, I believe, and I'm starting to understand that this war thingy, I had mentioned before the origins of it, but I understand, like, more of my new perspective on it, okay? Like I said, there's a lot of things that I remember reading when I was younger, and now I'm starting to put things together. Like, even things like the Bible, the parables, the, Old Testament, the New Testament, the talking about things like relating to bloodlines, and, the Bible is very, what do you call it? It's very symbolic, and a lot of people try to decipher it. We have so many different denominations, but what I am starting to believe about the Bible, okay, is I believe that it is originally made by, I know that the first Bible, I believe, was printed by King James, or one of those bloodlines. But aside from that, my point is that I believe or suspect that the Bible is a book of parables, okay? But it's also that I believe certain things can be done through certain secret societies within certain stages, right, to bring about a plan that was already set and designed, so that people can say, oh, look, this is in alignment with Bible prophecy. Let me explain something about the origins of people like me and him. Now, when I say him, this young man, okay, I believe he was also a clone. Okay, I believe that he too was a clone. Now, I personally do believe that, or I'm starting to suspect, that what we just witnessed was a form of an Armageddon. Now, that was meant to be an Armageddon. I believe his bloodline was rooting for, Christianity, and I was just kind of sitting here unaware of the whole thing, only knowing that I had studied Christianity. You know the story. You watched all my videos. Okay. So I believe that as a clone, your existence has some sort of purpose. Your existence, the reason why you got brought into, existence, is for something other than your mom to love you and wish you well, and then hope that you grow up for some specific reason out of love. Okay? I will tell you, clones receive no love. Okay? That's just how it is. Okay? And he comes from a family that basically was his requirement, it seems as though, and the only reason why these people exist is to serve the monarchy. Okay, this is the way it is. Okay, I'm just looking at things realistically. Okay, and so my heart felt sorry for this person. I feel sorry for him because in the whole grand scheme of things, he is a victim of the rage that was invoked by the demiurge that brought upon his existence, the whole agreement that his ancestors merged with this demiurge energy. I'm getting chills. Oh my God. I'm getting chills. Oh my God. Okay. This energy that they thought was okay because they wanted power. They wanted to feel like they had some sort of power and control. They wanted to feel like they were on top. So bad to the point that they didn't think about the kind of energy that they were messing with. Now, the reason why I have compassion, I feel his presence in the room. This is why I'm feeling, oh, it's so cold in here right now. Okay? The reason why I feel his presence in the room is because I feel as though I am at peace with him and he is at peace with me. That's why. Okay? And I do believe that I am going to absolve this man because he had no choice. His reality was, and I know this sounds very strange, but it is so important for me to get this message to you, understand. Because I know a lot of people are sitting here talking a lot of shit right now. Okay? And, you know, I could sit here and feel the same way about this person. All right? But what was unleashed, okay, that started this whole thing about the cloning thing, this whole thing, okay? This whole thing, he was just a victim of it himself. Okay, and I understand what it's like to be brainwashed. He only had one reality. His reality was everything that they gave him. He wasn't born because somebody wanted to love him. He had no concept of that whatsoever. Okay, none. What his specific goal was, and the reason why he was designed in the first place, was to conquer me. I am starting to believe that they knew who I was, and they were using this man as a rival. Okay. Now there are certain things that I've been writing down about, and I'm putting these things together. Okay. About the cloning process, the ill that his generation or his family line have brought upon not just their own family, because if you mess with the demiurge, you are going to boomerang stuff, okay? But they unleashed a Pandora's box and spread it everywhere. Everywhere. Okay? Now, and this is what he was born for. I was born to be, you know, an experiment. Okay? I wasn't born because my parents decided to get romantic one night because they were gazing into each other's eyes and wanted to get closer, and all of a sudden I'm some love child, right? No, I wish that would happen. Okay, but that's not what happened. What happened was I was an experiment from Joseph Mengele, one of the people that was mingling with him, one of the people who just wanted to be great, one of those people who just wanted to be noted for something, one of those people who just wanted to be powerful, okay, and was willing to sit here and follow the lines of those wicked demiurge. Another one, a sick person, very sick person, okay? So here we go with this issue of me being born for some specific purpose. That poor boy, I'm going to say that poor boy, that poor prince boy, okay, was a result of this demiurge. I am a result of the demiurge, the unleashing. Anytime my sister Tanya, her mental problems was the unleash of the demiurge. All of that was part of the demiurge. And it's really important for people to understand. Because I know there's a lot of people right now online talking shit about him, talking about all this other stuff, okay? And first of all, before we start judging people, okay, the very fact that, you know, you at first, look how many people were sucked into this. Look how many people willingly participated in this. So don't sit here and act as if, oh, he's such a bad person. You know what I'm talking about, okay? You know the phoniness and all this other stuff. I'm going to tell you what, this demiurge energy was heavy. Heavy, and it was about to snowball into something really, really big, even worse, okay? So, it is important to have love. There's been scientific proof about, you know, the development of children who are able to curl up in bed with their families for long periods of time. You know, it's nice when a kid gets to sleep in the middle of their mom and dad, or, you know, whatever. I remember when my son was little, I used to have him in bed with me. And the reason why I did that is because it's his closeness. Having that skin-on-skin contact, you know, with my son's arm used to touch my arm, or I could feel his little woolly hair laying on my skin. You know, and that sort of affection that we'd show each other, hugging, that sort of stuff. That is important for a development of a person, okay? But if you were somebody who was cloned, okay, if he received any of that, it could have been just for the camera. I'm just being honest, okay? Because there's a lot of power and desire to be powerful, and everything that you do in front of the camera is for power. I'm just saying, okay? So the reason why I am at peace with him. And I do believe, based on my conversations that I had with him, he feels like he is at peace. Okay, he now is released from any sort of duty that he never wanted to perform here on earth. He is now released from the obligation of carrying out the duty and the sick virus that the demiurge was attached to him, that was attached to him. He had no other choice but to follow that. Now, I think that he went overboard a little bit? Yeah, he did. Okay, but you know what? It is what it is. He paid with his life. He paid with his life. All right? And you know what? It's time to move on. Also, what else did I want to say? The power that they had the reason to. Man, I hate the fact that I write so crappy. I really do. For advancement of the power. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Like I said, the reason why, a lot of people in certain positions of power, the reason why they do whatever they do, a lot of it is based on tradition. It's based on that cold, distant type, no affection type stuff. Imagine having generation after generation that pumping out over and over and over again. Okay? This man was a victim of circumstance. I also do remember hearing now that it has been rumored that he was supposed to be the clone of the Shroud of Turin, right? And I'm starting to think that how is it that, the Bible, right? Or any sort of, I kept thinking, okay, if somebody had some sort of long-term plan, like a playbook, right? Like you can sit here and plan, who you're going to marry, the kind of people the children you're going to have, this sort of stuff. You could create a playbook of this, okay? That's possible. Now, I remember hearing some sort of rumor. I don't know where I read it. I don't know if it was either my mom's Star in the Inquirer or whatever. Chances are it was, because, I wouldn't buy that myself. But anyway, I remember reading about him being induced, the labor of his mother being induced on purpose. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, okay? But this is food for thought. And I might go into meditation about it some other time and get confirmation or whatever. But these are certain things that, when I start reading things, I start compiling the information and start, thinking about this. Now, if this was true, I know that his birthday was on the summer solstice, okay? And I know sometimes people do certain things for more energy, more power. I do it myself. I'll throw out some, black tea in the sunlight, make some sun tea on the solstice. Why? Because the sun's really powerful that day. Now, there's a possibility that these people were planning to have him rise up above me, and the reason why they gave him that, they induced the labor for that to happen. I'm just letting you guys know what I'm thinking, okay? Whatever. Okay, maybe that was the purpose. That's why his birthday was what it was. I suspect that perhaps maybe it is. Okay. But my thing is that I forgive him, and I'm glad that he's at peace. I really am. I'm glad that he's at peace, and I feel that, and I think it's really important that he feels that he has the sort of freedom that he never experienced here on Earth. Because they have a protocol, is what they have. They have a protocol, and he had no idea, no concept what it was like to maybe even do something goofy or sing or be goofy or think for himself on any level. Okay, when you are a clone, you're a slave, even if you think that if you're royalty. Okay, because that's how he was treated. He was treated for a purpose. Okay, so let us not speak ill of a man that was infected by the same demon that yourself was infected by. Okay? At least at one point in your life, if you're not now. Okay? And if you are now, then there's all kinds of cleansing that you can do. But the first thing you need to do is you need not judge anybody. Okay? I mean, I can understand, there are some people who really enjoy it, and yes, there is such a thing called evil. There is such a thing called evil. Okay, evil lurks, like I said, it can develop into a person and blossom into something that is so dark, and all it has to take is somebody who is, either like that, like like he was created for a specific purpose, to take me out. I really think so. You know what I mean? Or somehow be a dual maker or something. Whatever it is, he did not, whatever he did, or why, for whatever he was here, he was not meant to be here because of an earth experience for his own pleasure. He was here to act out something. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad that he is free, because I think the earth realm is a terrible place to be attached to. And now he's free. And now he can experience the things that he's never been able to on the earth. Okay? So anyway, that was my serious spiritual message. And now I'm going to go on to the synchronistic symbols. The pink 5-petal flower was last week's synchronistic symbol. Remember, synchronistic symbols can be found anywhere. It could be found on someone's clothing. It could be found, in a regular garden as you're walking by. It can be found in a parking lot, as they beautify their landscape. It could be found anywhere. So let's go on to what this week's symbol is. Okay, this week's synchronistic symbol looks like it's going to be another pink flower, but it's going to be a pink rose. And like I said, this could be found anywhere. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a real pink rose. You might go into the store and on the side of you might be an array of, what do they call it? Decorative, fake flowers. Those count too. Could also be found in somebody's hair. It could be found on a poster, postcard, several different ways. So we are moving into the waxing phase as of starting tomorrow. And today is the new moon. So go ahead and make your wish as to what it is that you would like for the week, and focus on the synchronistic symbol, and I hope that you see it. Don't forget to check out the new video, Wear the Flare in Your Hair. Also, check out the archived copies of the Swan Manifestos newsletter. The links are in the description box. See you next week, and thank you for watching.